As the wind picked up, the aggressive raindrops struck the window with forceful, percussive impacts. The sound of boats splashing through the puddles in the corridor echoed, broken only by the unsettling stillness. With her heart racing, she caught sight of the bullet holes, and a chill traced its way down her spine. Her throat felt dry as she swallowed, her fingers tightening around the flashlight until her grip was firm, the bright beam slicing the air as she inched along the corridor. A heavy moisture and dust filled the air, carrying with them a distinct metallic scent. A gasp escaped her lips as the light exposed the grayish skin, crisscrossed with dark veins, prompting her to step back. Her lips trembled as her eyes fixed on the nearby blood, intensifying her feeling of being imprisoned here. Her heart swelled with a jumble of emotions, empowering her to gather her courage and advance. Suddenly, a rough hand clamped over her mouth, muffling her cries as she was yanked behind the corner, the shock of the grip stealing her breath. A frantic pounding in her chest accompanied the icy grip of the fear that froze her muscles, making any struggle for life impossible. Shh! They are nearby, whispered someone. As a hand slowly moved away from her face, she subtly turned her head, catching a glimpse of the person behind her. In that moment, she understood they had switched off her flashlight, letting the shadows embrace them and conceal them from approaching enemies. I'm Carlos. Vanessa, whispered the woman. The shuffling of feet was the first sound of she registered, quickly followed by the chilling moans and groans of the approaching undead. As she cautiously peered from around the corner, her attention was held by the milky white eyes and the unnaturally angled jaw as the murky substance slowly dripped to the floor with a quiet plop. With unvoiced words and swallowed fear, Vanessa quickly backed away, bumping into the man she had recently met. She fugitedly glanced behind her and saw his striking green eyes sweeping the corridor, a clear readiness to react should the enemy discover their presence. In that moment, she saw the stark lettering on his police bulletproof vest, causing her eyes to widen in disbelief. A part of her found a strange sense of security in the presence of someone skilled with weapons. With a reassuring squeeze on her arm, Carlos moved her behind him, positioning himself as a protective barrier, his vow to safeguard others echoing in his mind. A cacophony of shuffling feet, splashing water, and the pained moans of the undead echoed through the corridor. With a growing unease about the approaching zombies, Carlos slowly reached out, his unspoken message urging the woman to step back before they were spotted. Fear tightening its grip on her heart, and she witnessed their enemies, their tormented groans and moans, a disturbing soundtrack to their aimless wandering in the corridor. Oh God! Whispered Vanessa under her breath. With her fingers closed around the inactive flashlight, she silently wished the gloom would shield them from discovery. Noticing Carlos' attempt to quietly back away down the corridor, she followed his lead as the zombies drew near. With each step closer to the door, Vanessa slowly eased it open, her gaze sweeping the interior to confirm no one was present. She advanced a few paces, her eyes darting back to ensure the man followed, observing him quietly close the passage, a deliberate act to prevent any noise from betraying their whereabouts. With a deep exhale, Carlos calmly stowed his handgun in the holster in a familiar, practiced motion. He turned, his movements unhurried, to observe the woman he had encountered moments before the corridor. He couldn't help but stare at her jeans caked with blood and dirt, a clear sign of a hardship she would have forced. As Vanessa took a few steps, she gazed at the dusty desk, a chaotic jumble of scattered documents. With a click, the flashlight blazed to life, its powerful beam pushing back the oppressive darkness from the area. She couldn't look away from the gruesome handprints, still wet with blood, and the medkit, its contents of stained gauze exposed. She stole a glance at the man, her eyebrows drawn together in a questioning frown, as if searching his face for an explanation. Carlos drew near, his eyes rapidly surveying the sand as thought, seeking any clue that might signal a threat. Do you think someone got bitten by then? Asked Vanessa. A wave of fear washed over her, bringing tears to her eyes as she stared at the man, trusting him to lead the way, convinced he was love enforcement. While a portion of her rejoiced in being with someone alive, the harrowing experiences of the last few hours had cast a shadow of doubt over all of her beliefs, including her own discernment, as she witnessed individuals readily abandon others to secure their own safety. I don't know. Maybe? Spoke Carlos with a hint of worry in his voice. Her worried and confused expression was clear, prompting him to slowly extend his gloved hand. Its touch on her shoulder, a calming, reassuring gesture. As long as we stick together, we should be fine. Although I hope there are more survivors. I got separated from a few. I'm not sure if they're alive. One of the people was, well, selfish. This guy didn't want to help many, and at some point he pushed me towards the zombies. I was lucky enough to get away from them, stated Vanessa. As her eyes moved around the area, she noticed the door on the other side of the room that was cracked open. Her flashlight flashed upwards, and a quick beam of light that also drew her companion's eyes to the same spot. Um, do you do you think whoever used the medkit went this way? Carlos tilted his head, his gloved fingers finding the familiar cool metal of his handgun in his leg holster, a silent gesture of reassurance for himself in this unfamiliar encounter, as he sought to project an aura of dependable strength for the woman before him. For a moment, a heavy silence settled between them, the air thick with unspoken words as he searched for something to say. He slowly nodded his head, noticing the terror reflecting in her eyes. Maybe? It's hard to say. This place is huge, spoke Carlos calmly. With a profound breath, he braced himself to the end, certain, like his commitment to protecting Vanessa from the zombies, solidified by a vow he made a long time ago. Come on, we need to move. Staying in one place for too long would be dangerous. We still have to get out of this place. Is there even an exit? I was searching it for hours, stated Vanessa. Her words echoed in Carol's mind, and as he visualized the building, a vivid memory of blueprints he studied a few days prior, well, resurfaced in his mind. Yeah, there is one. It'll be tricky to get it, since, people set up barricades here and there. Cut in Carlos. He saw a flicker of hope return to her eyes, a complex blend of emotions playing across her face. He let out a quiet chuckle, and once more reached for her shoulder, his touch gentle as he attempted to bring her comfort. When the call came in a few days ago, I pulled out the blueprints of this place. I thought it would be a good idea, since people were talking about zombies. Never thought it was the truth. Thanks, whispered Vanessa. His face was a mask of confusion, and a small, knowing smile formed on her lips as she realized their chances of making out of alive just going up. For saving me in the corridor, and now making sure that I'm alright. Don't mention it. Just doing my job, spoke Carlos calmly. Slowly navigating the room, he risked a look behind them, and the entrance they used, observing a silhouette drift past, which sent a chill down his spine, thinking the zombies were closing in. As they reached the slightly ajar door, Carlos motioned for the woman to remain a few paces behind him, a protective gesture in case of any lurking danger. With a slow push, he nudged the door open, a silver of his face peeked from around the corner. His eyes were drawn to the chaotic scene, blood stained the floor, alongside scattered documents in the corridor, its walls marred with bullet holes and vivid crimson handprints. A lamp formed in Carlos's heart, throat, and heart. As fear collided in his gut, his fingers closed around his hand again, and he fluidly adopted a prepared shooting posture while inching forwards. Vanessa followed the man, the beam of her flashlight cutting through the darkness and casting dancing shadows on the path ahead. Her heart pounded against her ribs as she risked a look at the fallen figures, uncertain if they were once human or already deceased zombies. The air was thick with the scent of metal, underscored by the putrid reek of death, and she couldn't help but wonder how long this madness had gripped this place. She instinctively took longer strides, drawing nearer to Carlos, her comfort growing with each step she took towards him. Soon there should be an intersection. We have to go to the right and then to the end of that corridor. It should guide us to the conference room of this place, spoke Carlos with a hint of war in his voice. He slowly slid to the wall, the raft brick cold against his spine as he braced himself and gathered the bravery needed to peer around the corner, a silent plea that no zombies awaited him. But determined, set to her job, Vanessa seized the man's shirt, her grip unwavering and preventing any further movement. It's full of zombies. I have been there. It's it's where this guy pushed me, muttered Vanessa. Carlos sighed heavily upon hearing her words, the sound echoing his growing despair as he understood their situation got worsened. With a deep inhale, he sought to quiet the racing of his mind. Well, shit, whispered Carlos. Taking a moment to compose himself, he turned into an eerie, mournful song of the approaching zombies. A frightening pulse throbbed in his chest while he contemplated an alternate route to escape the confines of this place. All right, well, there might be another way. I'm not sure.